Welcome, my friend. I'm glad your heart has found its way here today. Before we begin, I want you to take a moment and breathe. You're not here by accident. This message is meant for you. If you're ready to receive the wisdom that can free you from inner conflict and bring true harmony to your life, type "I believe" in the comments. Let this be your first act of openness. Let this be the way you tell life, "My heart is ready." And while you're here, make sure you subscribe to the Wisdom Within channel and turn on all notifications, because messages like this are not just heard, they're felt, and they come when your soul needs them most. Today, we're speaking about a silent force that destroys peace, breaks relationships, blinds us to truth, and keeps us from love. It's not something outside of us. It's something within us, the ego, this part of us that says, "I am right, I am more important. I must win, I must be seen." And yet this same voice is the reason harmony escapes us. Harmony with others, harmony with the world, harmony with ourselves. So why is ego the enemy of harmony? Let's begin to uncover the truth, not with judgment, but with honesty. Ego is clever. It doesn't shout loudly like anger. It doesn't sting like jealousy. It whispers. It wears disguises. It pretends to be confidence when it's really insecurity. It pretends to be strength when it's really fear. And worst of all, ego convinces us that we are separate from others, that our worth depends on winning, on being admired, on never appearing weak. But Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Ego tries to control the outside world. Wisdom teaches us to master the inner one. Look around you. Most conflicts don't begin because of real injustice. They begin because someone's ego felt threatened. Arguments between lovers, friends, family members. How often do they begin with the need to be right instead of the desire to understand? Seneca said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." This is ego. It creates imaginary enemies, imaginary insults, imaginary battles. And while the ego fights ghosts, peace quietly slips away. If this message is connecting with you, pause for a moment and like this video. It helps this wisdom travel to someone else who might be fighting a silent battle with their own ego. And if you haven't yet, comment "I believe" to anchor your heart in this truth. We are here to heal, not to compete. So what is harmony? Harmony is the opposite of ego. Harmony is not about thinking less of yourself, it's about thinking of yourself less. Harmony is living in alignment with nature, with others, with your own soul. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. Then you will forget your anger." This is harmony. It's not passive. It's powerful. It's choosing peace over pride, truth over victory, understanding over judgment. The ego says, "I must stand out." Harmony says, "I am part of something greater." The ego says, "I know everything." Harmony says, "I am always learning." The ego says, "I don't need help." Harmony says, "We rise together." One of the most beautiful lines from Epictetus is this: "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." That is the trap of ego. It keeps us blind because it convinces us there is nothing left to see. But let me speak directly to you now. Not to people in general, but to you. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to win every argument to be strong. You don't need to be perfect to be loved. The ego tries to protect you from humiliation, but in doing so, it isolates you from connection. Ego builds walls. Harmony builds bridges. Ego seeks attention. Harmony gives presence. Ego demands, "See me." Harmony whispers, "I see you." Sometimes ego hides in places you don't expect. It hides in jealousy when others succeed. It hides in stubbornness when someone offers advice. It hides in silence when forgiveness is needed. But the moment you notice it, you become free to choose differently. Seneca told us, "He who is brave is free." Freedom is not doing whatever you want. Freedom is not being controlled by the ego. My friend, can I encourage you to do something? If you are still listening, if your spirit is awake, type "I believe" in the comments. Not because I need to see it, but because you need to say it. You believe you are more than your ego. You believe your heart is capable of peace. And when this video ends later, I'll invite you to write "blessed and ready" to seal what you've received. But for now, stay with me. Let's go deeper. Why is ego the enemy of harmony? Because ego refuses to let us see clearly. It turns every conversation into a courtroom. It turns love into competition. It turns friendship into comparison. And worst of all, it turns the soul inward, making it unable to appreciate the beauty of others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know anything about the subject." Ego makes us live for the opinions of others. Harmony makes us live for truth. You can feel it in your body when ego takes over. Your heart beats faster. You feel the need to defend yourself, to speak louder, to interrupt. You feel the urge to win, not to understand. And afterward, even if you win the argument, you lose the peace. Because deep down, the soul doesn't want to win. It wants to connect. It wants to love. It wants harmony. Ego is loud. Harmony is quiet. But which one lets you sleep peacefully at night? Which one allows you to look in the mirror without regret? If this message is resonating, don't forget to subscribe to the Wisdom Within channel right now. Click the bell icon so you don't miss the next teachings that your heart might need. And like this video to help this message reach more souls who are struggling in silence. You were not created to live in inner war. You were made for harmony, with yourself, with others, and with life itself. This is why ego hurts so deeply, because it separates you from your true nature. Seneca said, "A man who suffers before it is necessary, suffers more than is necessary." How much of your suffering comes from ego trying to control what cannot be controlled? From the fear of looking small? From the desire to be praised? Ego is the enemy of harmony because harmony requires surrender, and ego hates surrender. But surrender is not weakness. Surrender is strength. It is choosing peace over power. It is choosing truth over pride. It is choosing healing over hostility. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." Ego seeks revenge. Harmony seeks wisdom. Before we move to the next part, if you're still with me, I want you to breathe in deeply and release. You are safe here. Your soul is listening. In the next part, we'll go even deeper into how to recognize ego in yourself, how the Stoics overcame it, and how you can begin to walk a life of harmony. Thank you for staying. That already shows something powerful, not to me, but to yourself. It shows that you are someone who seeks truth over comfort, someone willing to look inward rather than point outward. If you haven't already, comment "I believe" to anchor your heart in this journey. And like this video to help this message reach someone else who might be struggling with their own ego in silence. Let's go deeper into this question. Why is ego the enemy of harmony? Because ego builds illusions. It makes you believe that your value comes from praise, status, appearance, and winning. But true harmony comes when your value is rooted in something no one can take away. Your character, your peace, your alignment with truth. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter. Not the applause, not the outcome. Just the right thing." Ego cares about being seen doing the right thing. Harmony cares about being the right person, even when no one sees. Think about how ego affects your relationships. Have you ever held back an apology? Not because you didn't care, but because your ego didn't want to look weak? Have you ever argued longer than necessary? Not because you wanted clarity, but because you wanted to win. That's ego sacrificing connection for pride. Seneca said, "How much better to heal than to seek revenge from injury?" Yet ego seeks to win. Harmony seeks to heal. There are moments when ego makes us feel big, but they are always followed by moments that make us feel small, because ego is unstable. It depends on other people's approval, and approval changes like the weather. One day they praise you, the next they forget you. If your peace depends on how others see you, then you give the world permission to control your emotions. True harmony comes when your peace is internal, not borrowed from the opinions of others. I want to speak directly to the quiet battles you don't talk about. The times you felt overlooked, unappreciated, misunderstood. The times someone hurt you and your ego said, "Make them regret it." The times you scrolled through your phone comparing your life to others, and your ego whispered, "You're behind." These are not failures. These are invitations. Invitations to return to harmony. Because harmony doesn't compare. Harmony trusts its own season. Epictetus said something simple but life-changing. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. Ego wants to be praised for what it believes. Harmony simply lives it. The most powerful people are not the loudest. They are the ones whose presence calms the room. They don't need to prove themselves because they are at peace with themselves. So how can you recognize ego within yourself before it steals your peace? Look for 3 signs. First, when you feel the need to control how others see you. Second, When you feel angry just because someone disagrees with you. Third, when you feel too proud to ask for help. These are signals not of failure but of a heart that needs gentleness. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake in any thought or action, I shall gladly change. For I seek the truth by which no one was ever truly harmed." That is not weakness, that is inner strength. That is harmony with truth, and truth is greater than ego. If this speaks to you, pause and like the video. And if you're still here, type "I believe." Let's fill the comments with voices choosing humility over pride, peace over conflict. Ego doesn't just hurt relationships with others, it also destroys the relationship you have with yourself. When ego controls your mind, you stop listening to your heart. You become your own critic. You set impossible standards. You judge yourself harshly for every mistake. But harmony says, "I am a work in progress," and that is okay. Harmony accepts imperfections as part of the journey, not proof of failure. Seneca gave us a beautiful reminder. No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. Ego avoids anything that could make it look weak. Harmony embraces challenges because they shape the soul. Ego resists, harmony adapts. Ego says, "This should not be happening to me." Harmony says, "This is happening for me to grow." But let's be honest, ego is not easy to let go of. It's been with us since childhood. It was formed when we first felt judged, when we first felt unloved, when we first learned to defend ourselves by pretending we didn't care. Ego is not evil, it's just afraid. And harmony cannot begin until we stop fighting ego and start understanding it. This is why the Stoics never told us to hate the ego. They told us to see it clearly, to observe it without becoming it. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Ego reacts. Harmony responds. Ego is impulsive. Harmony is intentional. Ego speaks to be heard. Harmony listens to understand. You may ask, if ego is so harmful, why do we keep returning to it? Because ego gives quick rewards. It gives us the illusion of power, the temporary thrill of winning, the comfort of blaming others instead of looking at ourselves. But harmony gives something deeper, not a rush of pride but a quiet joy, not the victory of the mind but the peace of the heart. If you're still with me, subscribe to the Wisdom Within channel. These messages are not just lessons, they are mirrors. They help you see parts of yourself you forgot, ignored, or buried. And click the like button so this message can find its way to someone who needs it right now. Now imagine a life without ego. Not a life where you're invisible, but one where you no longer need to be seen to feel worthy. Imagine a conversation where you don't need to win, where you listen not to reply but to understand. Imagine a morning where you wake up and your first thought is not, "What will people think of me?" but "How can I live in truth today?" That is harmony. It does not begin when the world changes. It begins when you do. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Ego searches for happiness outside. Harmony realizes it is already inside. You don't need more praise. You need more presence. You don't need more followers. You need more faith. You don't need louder pride. You need quieter peace. We'll go even deeper in the next part. How to actually practice harmony daily. How to overcome ego when it rises. And how the ancient Stoics trained their minds to stay humble and free. Take a quiet breath with me right now. Not to escape life, but to become fully present within it. We live in a world that constantly tells us to prove ourselves, to be seen, to outshine everyone around us. But the truth is, the brightest stars are not the loudest. They shine in silence and harmony. True harmony is found not in being above others, but being at peace within yourself. Before we go deeper, if you haven't already, write "I believe" in the comments. Not for me, but as a declaration to yourself, that you choose humility over ego and peace over noise. Ego whispers that you are the center of the universe. Harmony reminds you that you are a part of something bigger. The ego fears being ordinary, but harmony finds greatness in being authentic. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." What he meant is that growth often requires humility, and humility often requires being misunderstood for a while. Ego cannot accept this. Ego wants praise now. Harmony is patient. Harmony trusts that truth will reveal itself in time. Let's look at one of the quiet ways ego destroys harmony: comparison. You scroll through social media, seeing others' success, smiles, celebrations. Ego says you're behind, you're not enough. But what you see is a moment, not a life. Seneca reminds us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Harmony says, your journey is not supposed to look like theirs. You have your own time, your own path. The flowers don't bloom all at the same time. Neither do people. So stop rushing your season. Stop competing with a timeline that was never meant to be yours. Another way ego disrupts harmony is through the desire to always be right. Think of the arguments you've had where you knew you were wrong, but your pride wouldn't let you admit it. Think of how heavy that felt afterward. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If anyone can refute me, show me I'm making a mistake or looking at things from the wrong perspective, I'll gladly change." It's the truth I'm after. That's harmony, valuing truth over ego, wisdom over pride. Have you ever noticed how the people who speak the loudest about their greatness are often the most insecure? And those who are truly wise, truly strong, rarely boast? The oak tree doesn't shout about its roots. It simply stands firm. In the same way, harmony doesn't demand attention. It quietly transforms everything around it. The ego builds walls. Harmony builds bridges. In relationships, ego says, if they don't message me, I won't message them. Harmony says, maybe they needed someone to reach out first. Ego says, they don't deserve my forgiveness. Harmony says, forgiveness is not about them. It's about freeing myself. When you live from ego, your world becomes smaller, just you, your thoughts, your pride. But when you live from harmony, your world expands. There is room for understanding, grace, and growth. If this message is reaching a part of you that needed to be heard today, pause and like this video. It helps the message spread. It helps someone who feels alone in this struggle to know they're not alone. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the Wisdom Within channel. There are more messages like this. Messages that speak to your soul, not your ego. Another powerful Stoic quote that strikes at the heart of ego comes from Seneca. You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire. Ego lives as though there's endless time to chase status, but harmony remembers life is short and moments are fragile. Let that sink in, life is temporary. So why waste it protecting an illusion of yourself when you could spend it becoming your true self? The greatest battles are not fought on the outside, but within. You've likely fought this war before, between who you pretend to be and who you truly are, between what your ego wants and what your soul needs, between seeking admiration and seeking peace. This is not a sign of weakness. This is a sign you're alive, growing, awakening. Ego often disguises itself as strength, but harmony reveals what strength really is. Strength is not never bending. Strength is bending without breaking. Strength is not never apologizing. Strength is apologizing even when your voice shakes. Strength is not being better than everyone else. Strength is being better than you were yesterday. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If your thoughts are full of ego, comparison, pride, envy, your soul will reflect that. But if your thoughts are full of gratitude, humility, peace, you will radiate harmony, and the people around you will feel it even if they can't explain it. Let me ask you directly, are you tired of fighting your own reflection? Are you tired of pretending you're okay when your heart feels heavy? You don't need to carry this alone. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You just need to take one step toward harmony. One honest thought, one act of kindness, one humble apology. And if you're still here, I know something about you. You are not someone who runs away from truth. You are someone who leans into it even when it hurts. That's rare. That's beautiful. So take a moment now and write "I believe" in the comments below to affirm. Thank you for staying with me. The fact that you are still here tells me something important about you. You are not here for entertainment alone. You are here because you are searching for truth, for peace, for harmony within yourself. Before we continue, comment "I believe" to remind your mind and your spirit why you're here. Not for ego, but for awakening. So how do we truly weaken ego and move closer to harmony? The first step is awareness. You cannot fight what you cannot see. You cannot heal what you refuse to acknowledge. The ego hides behind defensiveness, sarcasm, perfectionism, and comparison. It hides behind the need to win every argument, to always be right, to always be admired. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The ego is not a wall to avoid. It is a mirror to learn from. Think about the last time you felt jealous of someone. Maybe they achieved something you wanted. Maybe they were praised while you were ignored. Ego says, they took what should have been mine. Harmony says, their success is not my failure. Their light does not dim mine. When your heart can genuinely celebrate others, that is when ego begins to loosen its grip. Let me remind you of a powerful truth. You don't need to be better than others to be worthy. You don't need to be admired to be valuable. The sun does not apologize for shining, but it does not boast either. It simply shines because that is its nature. You too were created to shine, not to outshine, but to illuminate. Now, another way to recognize ego is through resentment. When someone disrespects you or overlooks you, ego says, how dare they? Ego makes you a prisoner of other people's actions. Harmony whispers, their actions are a reflection of them, not you. Seneca tells us, we are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality. Most of the pain caused by ego is not physical. It is imagined, exaggerated, replayed in our minds. One of the most humbling practices is learning to apologize without adding excuses. Ego says, I'm sorry, but you also. Harmony says, I'm sorry for my part in this. No defense, no justification, just truth. That is where healing begins. That is where harmony grows. A sincere apology is not a sign of defeat. It's a sign that you value peace over pride. If this message is speaking to you, take a moment and like this video, so it reaches someone else who is secretly struggling with their own ego. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the Wisdom Within channel and join this growing family of souls seeking depth over noise. Another powerful teaching that destroys ego comes from Epictetus. It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Ego blocks learning. Ego says, I know everything. I don't need help. Harmony says, teach me, show me. I am willing to grow. The wisest people in history were not the ones who claimed to know everything. They were the ones who remained students of life until their final breath. Think about this. When was the last time you listened without planning your response? When was the last time you allowed someone else to teach you? When was the last time you said, I was wrong? These are not signs of weakness. These are signs of emotional maturity. These are the foundations of a harmonious life. Harmony is not found in isolation from the world. It is found in how you respond to it. When someone praises you, harmony says thank you. But deep inside, you know your value is not dependent on that praise. When someone criticizes you, harmony listens, takes what is useful, and leaves the rest without hatred. Ego makes you a slave to both praise and insult. Harmony makes you free from both. Marcus Aurelius warned us, receive without pride, let go without attachment. That means, don't cling to compliments, don't cling to possessions, don't cling even to your own identity, because everything is temporary. Everything that ego uses to define itself, money, status, appearance, power, will eventually fade. And if your peace is attached to these things, your peace will fade with them. But harmony is not temporary. Harmony comes from within, from character, from wisdom, from living aligned with truth. These cannot be taken from you. They only grow stronger with time. Sometimes people believe that ego is necessary to survive, that without it we will be walked over or ignored. But that is not true strength. Ego reacts with anger, pride, revenge. Harmony responds with clarity, calm, justice. Harmony does not mean you let people disrespect you. It means you don't let their disrespect change who you are. There is a quiet power in remaining calm when others expect you to explode. There is grace in choosing dignity over drama. Let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you were truly at peace with yourself? Not distracted, not entertained, but genuinely at peace. If it's been a while, maybe ego has been too loud in your life. Maybe harmony is calling you back. So how do we practice harmony each day? Begin with small steps. When someone disagrees with you, instead of arguing, try listening. When someone receives praise, celebrate them instead of comparing. When you make a mistake, admit it without self-hatred. When someone hurts you, forgive not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Seneca reminds us, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Harmony is not found in a life without challenges. It is found in a heart that remains calm within them. If this resonates with you, comment below I believe and let the world see that you choose humility, healing, and harmony over ego. Before we go on, pause for a moment and write "I believe" in the comments. Not because it helps the channel, but because it helps you take ownership of this message. It tells your mind, I choose wisdom over pride. I choose harmony over ego. And if you haven't already, please like this video so someone else who is silently struggling might discover this message. Make sure to subscribe to the Wisdom Within channel so you never miss these teachings that speak not to your ego, but to your soul. Let's dive even deeper now. Why is ego truly the enemy of harmony? Because ego is rooted in separation, while harmony is rooted in connection. Ego says, I am separate from you. I am better or worse than you. I must defend myself against you. Harmony says, we are part of the same human experience. I don't need to defeat you to find peace. Ego creates division within families, friendships, and even within our own hearts. Harmony creates unity, not by making everyone the same, but by allowing everyone to be themselves. Ego also tries to control everything. It wants to control how others think, how the world treats us, how our future unfolds. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Harmony does not resist life. It flows with it. It does not demand that the world bend to its will. It adapts while staying true to its values. Think about how many times ego has caused unnecessary pain in your life. You were ignored and your ego felt offended. You were corrected and your ego felt humiliated. You were challenged and your ego felt attacked. But harmony sees these same situations differently. Being ignored becomes an invitation to self-reflect. Being corrected becomes a chance to learn. Being challenged becomes a path to growth. The problem is not that ego exists. The problem is when ego controls you without you knowing. The Stoics never taught us to destroy ego. They taught us to master it, to observe it without identifying with it, to let go of the need to always be seen as right, strong, or perfect. Perfection is an illusion, but peace is real. Seneca said something that reveals a profound truth about ego. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Ego always craves more praise, more attention, more certainty, more validation. Harmony is grateful for what is already here. Ego says, I'll be happy when. Harmony says, I am enough now. I have enough now. Have you ever noticed how ego makes you rush through life? It makes you chase after the next achievement, the next compliment, the next goal. As if your worth depends on constant motion. Harmony slows you down. It teaches you to breathe, to listen, to appreciate the moment you are in, because this moment is the only place peace can exist. Ego lives in the past and future. Harmony lives in the present. Let's talk about how ego damages love. Ego says, love me on my terms. Agree with me. Admire me. Harmony says, I love you even when we disagree. I respect your thoughts even when they're different from mine. Ego wants to take. Harmony wants to give. The reason so many relationships, romantic, family, or friendship fall apart is not because love disappeared. It's because ego grew louder than love. Marcus Aurelius beautifully wrote, when someone does you wrong, you must immediately consider what their impression is, what they believe is right. For when you see that, you will pity them instead of being angry. That is harmony in love, replacing judgment with understanding. Ego is obsessed with being liked. Harmony is focused on being real. Which one do you think brings more peace? The world might applaud ego for a moment, but the soul only rests in authenticity. Epictetus gave us a key to freedom when he said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Ego wants everything. Harmony is content with the essentials: health, peace, purpose, love. That is true wealth. You may not have everything you want, but if you are at peace, you have everything you need. True greatness is not what you do in front of the world. It's what you do when no one is watching. And maybe that's why you feel this message so deeply. Because somewhere inside your soul is tired of pretending, tired of competition, tired of always trying to prove something. Your soul is craving harmony, craving rest, craving peace. If you're still here listening, you are not weak. You are strong enough to face your ego. You are brave enough to embrace humility. So take a moment and type I believe in the comments below, and let that be your first act of quiet strength. Marcus Aurelius also said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Ego talks about goodness. Harmony lives it. Ego argues. Harmony acts. Ego demands. Harmony gives. But let me ask you this quietly, honestly. When was the last time you acted not from love but from ego? When was the last time you walked into a room and secretly hoped others would notice you? Or when someone corrected you, did you feel a sudden fire rise inside not because they were wrong, but because your pride was wounded? This is the silent battlefield within every human soul. The Stoics understood this deeply. They knew that the true war is not against other people but against the inflated image we build of ourselves. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Ego is the illusion that we can control how others see us. Wisdom is the realization that the only thing we can truly rule is our own inner kingdom, and harmony in relationships and family. Within our own hearts, it is possible only when we stop forcing the world to bow to our pride. My friend, if you're still watching, it means you care about becoming more peaceful, more grounded, more free, and that desire is rare. That desire is sacred. So before we go deeper, if you haven't yet, type in the comments, "I believe in inner peace." Those words are your declaration. You choose harmony over ego, wisdom over pride. And while you're there, don't forget to like this video so more souls like you can discover it, and subscribe to the Wisdom Within channel for more messages made just for you. Now, let us continue. Seneca once wrote, "He who is brave is free." But freedom is not just the ability to do what you want. It is the ability to not be ruled by your ego. The ego says, "I must be right." Freedom says, "I choose peace." The ego says, "They didn't respect me." Freedom says, "Their opinion cannot touch my soul." Harmony is not born from winning every argument. It is born when we no longer feel the need to win at all costs. Think about how many relationships have been broken because of ego. Two people who love each other, yet neither wants to be the first to apologize. So silence grows, resentment grows, and love slowly suffocates under the weight of pride. Marcus Aurelius asked himself daily, "When someone does wrong, is it truly harm to me, or is it only an offense to my ego?" And most times he found it was only his ego speaking. So he chose mercy over anger, humility over reaction. You and I face that same choice every day. In your workplace, when someone takes credit for your idea. In your home, when someone speaks to you harshly. In your friendships, when you feel overlooked. The question is simple: do you respond from ego or from wisdom? Seneca reminds us, anger, if not restrained, is often more harmful to us than the injury that provokes it. Ego tells you, react now, speak louder, make them regret it. Wisdom whispers, wait, breathe, rise above. And here's a secret most people never learn. People are not drawn to ego. They are drawn to presence, to kindness, to a soul that does not need to impress. When you let go of ego, you don't become weaker. You become more magnetic. You become the kind of person who makes others feel safe, heard, and respected. And harmony naturally forms around you. The famous Stoic Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Your reaction reveals whether your life is ruled by ego or guided by peace. And the beautiful thing is, you always have a choice. Even when anger rises, even when pride wants to speak first, you can pause. You can choose a higher response. Let's explore something deeper. Why does ego fear harmony? Because harmony requires surrender. Harmony asks us to listen, to understand, to let go of being the center of everything. Ego cannot survive where humility lives. Ego needs conflict to feel important. It needs division to feel superior. But harmony is the great equalizer. It reminds us we are all human, we are all temporary, we are all learning. That is why ego resists it. Marcus Aurelius said, "We are all breathing the same air, drinking the same water, standing upon the same earth. Why then do we fight one another as enemies?" That is the voice of harmony speaking through a king. And if a ruler of the largest empire on earth could lower his pride and see the world as one family, then you and I can do the same within our small circles. My friend, let me speak to your heart now. If there is someone you've been arguing with silently in your mind, someone whose actions have bruised your ego, breathe. Not every battle needs to be fought. Not every response needs to be spoken. Peace is sometimes found in silence, in letting go, and choosing not to fight for every inch of respect. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Will this bring me closer to peace or deeper into chaos? The ego only sees the moment. Wisdom sees the future. If this message is speaking to you, gently tap the like button. It tells the universe and this channel that your heart is awake. And subscribe so that every time you forget your worth, a new message will be waiting to remind you. Now another truth. Ego is not always loud. Sometimes it hides quietly in the corners of the mind. It shows up as envy. When you see someone else succeed and feel bitterness instead of inspiration, it shows up as insecurity. When you need others to validate your worth, it shows up as silence when you don't speak your truth because you fear judgment. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The ego imagines that we are always being judged, that people are constantly thinking of us. In truth, most people are too busy thinking about themselves. Let go, walk lightly. You are not being watched as closely as your ego believes. Harmony lives in the soul that can celebrate others without feeling smaller, that can apologize without feeling weaker, that can walk alone without feeling invisible. As we come to the closing of this message, I want you to breathe with me for just a moment. Not to empty your mind, but to fill it with truth. Because harmony isn't something you chase outside of yourself. It is something you uncover within. The ego is loud. It demands. It fears. It clings. But harmony is gentle. It trusts. It releases. It reminds you that your value was never measured by applause or approval, but by the calm in your soul and the kindness in your heart. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not waste time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." In the end, the answer is not more talk, not more pride, not more proof. The answer is living it. It's waking up tomorrow and choosing peace over pettiness, choosing patience over pride, choosing understanding instead of assuming the worst. That is how harmony is born. Not in grand speeches, but in small, quiet choices. Think of the people in your life, the ones you love, the ones who challenge you, the ones who do not understand you. The ego wants to correct them, to criticize them, to win against them. But harmony asks a different question. How can I love them without trying to control them? How can I protect my peace without losing my compassion? Seneca reminds us, wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. Even with those who hurt you, even with those who don't see your worth, you don't have to prove anything. You don't have to chase their respect. Harmony is not about making everyone like you. It's about no longer needing them to. And maybe right now you are tired. Tired of arguing. Tired of trying to be understood. Tired of carrying silent battles inside your chest. If that is true, then let this be the moment you lay it down. Let this be the moment you choose harmony over ego. Because the truth is, the world does not need more people who win arguments. It needs more people who heal them. More hearts that are gentle yet strong. More souls who can be hurt but still choose grace. When you begin to live this way, free from stillness, not from ego, something beautiful happens. Your presence becomes peaceful. People feel safe around you. Your relationships soften. Your inner world becomes quiet. And slowly harmony begins to grow, like sunrise after a long night. So before we close, I ask you, not as a viewer, but as a friend, if this message touched you, if it awakened something inside you, type in the comments "blessed and ready." Let it be your declaration that you choose harmony. You choose healing. You choose humility. And while you're there, like this video so it can reach someone else who needs it. And subscribe to the Wisdom Within channel so these words can continue to meet you right when your soul needs them most. Marcus Aurelius also said, "Look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will always look. That strength is not ego. It is faith. It is purpose. It is the quiet knowing that you are made for something deeper than pride." And if you need one more reminder, let it be this. You are not what others think. You are not your achievements. You are not your failures. You are something far greater. A soul capable of love, peace, forgiveness, and truth. Ego is loud, but your spirit is stronger. Harmony is not the absence of challenge. It is the presence of inner serenity despite challenge. It is choosing not to react to everything that triggers you. It is forgiving people who may never apologize. It is choosing peace not because you are weak, but because you are wise. And that, my friend, is true power. So take these words with you, into your home, into your relationships, into the quiet moments when no one is watching. The world may not notice the battles you win inside yourself, but heaven does, and your future self will thank you. If you are still here, your heart is searching for truth, and that means you are not alone. this channel, this community. We walk this path together. So stay with us, subscribe, share this message. And never forget, harmony begins with you. Once more, type in the comments to seal this message in your spirit, blessed and ready. And until the next video, stay humble, stay peaceful, and stay awake to the wisdom within.